My girlfriend reported me to the police for mlesting her son, but he confessed that he was just lying. Now, she wants a fresh start and won't accept that I want nothing to do with them. Basically, we had been together for over a year and a half, and we were doing great. She has a son who's 7 from a previous relationship, who I've not only met but was fond of. I wouldn't say stepdad material, but we had a little friendship. The dad's in and out of prison in the kid's life, so I'm the only guy like that he's had in his life that fulfills any real decent male role model figure. We were even talking about living together. A few weeks ago, I got a visit from the police, and they arrested me for intimately assaulting her son. I'd been bailed on the condition that I wouldn't go near them, so I'd been placed on gardening leave at work. Last week, I got a letter saying the case had been dropped, and I no longer have to attend my next bail hearing. That was it. I rang the policeman in charge of the investigation, and at the time, he said he couldn't comment too much as there was still an active investigation, but basically, her son confessed he had made it up and I'm innocent. To say I was mad/shocked/confused was an understatement. Basically, a couple of days later, I'd had one drink too much and rang her to confront her. She answered, all apologetic, and explained that this little fugging nephew of hers did it to her son at this party they went to a few days before I was arrested, and when her son confessed someone had touched him, he panicked and said it was me instead of his cousin. I guess his being questioned by the police scared him, so he had told the truth. I was so disgusted and just hung up on her, deleted my social media too, so I don't have to have anything to do with them. She's been ringing me since, texting me, emailing me, and is collectively saying even though she's so sorry that she put me through all this, she can't be too sorry as she wanted to protect her son, but she really wants us to get back to where we were again, and her son misses me too and has been crying saying he's hurt me. She said this can make us stronger and have a good future. I've not answered at all. I've got nothing to say. I'm thinking of ghosting her. I can't lie and say I don't have love for her or her son, but if I'm honest, I'm way too hurt. I'd always know she once thought I did something so unspeakable to her son, and I'll also never be able to forget that his lies could have wrecked my life. And I'd never want the risk of running into her nephew again. I never want anything to do with him again. What should I do? Reddit? Update 1. Firstly, I met up with my girlfriend. She rang me and I answered and asked if we could meet on Sunday night. Normally I'd not answer, but because she had it from a withheld number and I was pissed, I said yeah, alright. When she came around, I was all set to be guns blazing and tell her to fuck off. But when I saw her, I felt all emotional and broke down. She did too. We hugged well, and she kept on saying how awful I looked and how much weight I'd lost. She apologized and kept apologizing profusely. She said she had to report me because her son looked so distressed, and she couldn't report it as a mother. But she said she, in hindsight, knew I wouldn't be capable of what he said I did, and she hasn't been sleeping or thinking straight of what I could be going through. Once her so admitted to the police it wasn't me, and it was his cousin. The police got a confession out of her nephew, and he said he was molested himself, so he was only doing what happened to him. I couldn't try and be all nice and understanding, and I said I couldn't give a fuck. She seemed quite stunned by this, but as she could see I was distressed, she didn't argue the point. Basically, she said she wanted to know where we go from here and that she loved me so much and that she wanted to know if I could move on from it. She also had a letter from her son. Basically, he's been really poorly, and he was so upset about what he said I'd done and asked if I'd read it. I don't know what happened then, but I got really angry. I said I couldn't read his letter. She got all pissed and said that he's only a kid, and he's been struggling so much. Did our little relationship mean so little to me? I felt so fucking blindsided and said that it wasn't my fault he accused me of being a pedo. After a lot of arguing, raised voices, and hurt feelings, I said I'd take the letter but couldn't promise I'd want to reply. I mean, his accusation will likely ruin my career. She said she was done at this point but stressed how much she loved me and asked if I could ever forgive them. I said I couldn't promise. She also felt awful that I was likely losing my job the next day. We hugged it out, kissed it, and left it there. On the subject of my work, it's bittersweet. I arrived there for my meeting and briefly saw my colleagues. They were treating me like poop. One woman who's been like my work mom and mentor was looking down her nose instantly. I tried to talk to her and she just walked off mid-conversation. Several others were all looking at me as if I was the worst human being ever. When I got into the meeting, it looked as if I was just going to be sacked, and that was it. But I'm a pretty good negotiator, and I managed to beat them back to being not to blame at all. Basically, we argued a deal where I resigned, but they agreed to give me a great reference. They also paid me in full for September and October and gave me a £1,000 car bonus so I could buy myself a car. I'm due to go in and formally accept this Thursday. It's horrible because I've had to resign after 5 years of hard work and training and cut ties with a place where I really gave it my all and felt like I had a future, all because I've done nothing wrong. Update 2. So in response to my last post, I decided I wasn't going to take it lying down and accept their proposal. I messaged my MD and told him I thought he should attend the meeting. Me and I always got on well. Long story short, I told him I was taking legal advice and was looking at my local employment law specialist, and he claimed the regional bosses and HR kept him in the dark. He said he would be in the meeting. When we arrived, he was extremely apologetic and said he would deal with them. They all looked really sheepish. Basically, we worked out a deal. As a settlement, I'll receive a full 5 months salary on top of my current month, £3,000 car settlement, and my usual 5% bonus on my salary. And they'll write me a glowing personal reference. Honestly, I was going to look into prosecuting them, but I just wanted it to be over, so I accepted. Hopefully, I can move on professionally. On the subject of my now ex, I decided to read the little boy's letter. It was more of a note, but it basically said, Dear Forex, I'm sorry, I love you. You are my best friend. If I was a cold person, I'd not feel bad. I'm not at all, and I hadn't intoxicated for a couple of days, so I sent him a note in the post too. I said in it that I was sorry for what happened to him and hoped he would forgive himself in time. And also, I hoped life would be kind to him. I also called my now ex and said I wanted a clean break and was ending it. She was really crying and said she was sorry. I said I forgave her and acknowledged she did what she had to do. She said she truly loved me and would have carried on with me if I had wanted to. I ended it there. My cousin, who I was looking to stay with, is on holiday, so I have booked a 3 weeks holiday in Inverness starting Monday, and I'm going camping. Hopefully, I can make a clean break. Final update, I was going just to block her and go away, but a commenter on my last post said she may misconstrue that my taking time away meant only a temporary break from her, and I was leaving the door open to reconcile, which I didn't want to do. Despite all what went on, I still cared for her and didn't want her to suffer. I went around her house to tell her in person. I basically said I needed to end it and cut all contact indefinitely because of all that's gone on, and that I could forgive them but never forget what they did. She apologized again and said she still loved me, and did I love them? I said no, and she went hysterical, so I left. I blocked her on everything, deleted my social media, and went on my holiday to Scotland. I was only supposed to be there for 3 weeks, but I stayed nearly 4 and only got back yesterday. My friend who knows us spoke to me today and said my ex had been poop talking about me, saying on her Facebook, especially that I've abandoned her and her son, etc. I don't care, I'm looking to move anyway and start afresh, so I don't care at this stage.